Have you ever wanted to harness the power of three-dimensional graphics on your home microcomputer, possibly for the purposes of creating your very own videos game? After all, it's not like anyone makes 2D stuff anymore. Well, now you can, and the good news is that you probably already have the necessary tools: a web browser, a text editor, and a machine upon which to run those two things. You see, modern web browsers support this thing called WebGL, allowing you to insert a 3D canvas into any web page. This means that, if it has an internet connection, you can probably do 3D on it. This includes the Xbox One thanks to Microsoft Edge, but not the PS4 for some reason. Unfortunately, WebGL is also a little bit complicated, which can be intimidating if, like me, you think that Vector is the crocodile from Sonic and that a Matrix is the 1999 movie featuring the guy from Cyberpunk. What in God's name is a frustum? Thankfully, there is a solution, and its name is ThreeJS. ThreeJS is effectively a simplified interface that sits between you and a WebGL context, so that you don't have to learn an entire shader language before you can draw a single goddamn polygon. Though it also provides various extras like loading 3D models, lens flares, or, well, Minecraft. You know it's good when the official website features Hatsune Miku. Now, a complete overview would probably need to be broken down into multiple parts so as to ensure that there is sufficient time to cover each aspect in detail, but I have instead decided to speedrun the whole experience for those of you whose time or attention span is limited. So whether you're new to programming or a software development professional, please enjoy or at least tolerate the remainder of this possibly too fast edutainment experience as we go through things from the very beginning. The first thing we'll need to do is create a basic HTML template like this. Save this text file as whatever.html and then open it in your web browser. Congratulations, you now have a blank page. That's because we also need to create this file in order to write JavaScript. If you don't know anything about JavaScript, don't worry, neither do most professional web developers. Here's what you need to know: functions, variables, and if statements. You are now fully informed. At this point, the only difference between you and a professional JavaScript developer is that they are currently down in the comments section complaining about how I didn't mention arrow functions, and that I used var instead of const or let. Before we leap into the third dimension, let's begin with a basic 2D example. Save this code with this file name in the same place as before and reload the page. Congration, we now have a red square. Next, we're going to make that square move by modifying the code to continuously redraw everything. Don't forget to paint over the old image before you draw the next one, or else things will look like this. Okay, the square is animated, meaning that this game is now ready for Steam Early Access, or possibly even a final release. For our day one patch though, we're going to want to allow players to control the square, and there are a few ways to do this. Keyboard input is actually pretty simple. You do it like this. Now we can press A to move left, D to move right, or F to pay respects. Alternatively, you can use a gamepad like so. Common pads will usually all behave in the same way, except on Firefox, so use Chrome instead. As an added bonus, Chrome even allows you to make those controllers vibrate. By the way, I should probably mention that the redraw rate is usually 60 frames per second, but it may be higher on some devices, so you should probably make sure that the speed is controlled in some way in case things go a bit too fast. Anyhow, I think we've talked about 2D long enough. Strap in, my fellow Tumblr users, because it's time to drink your 3Juice. For and firstmost, we need to make a few adjustments to the HTML file, removing the canvas, and loading ThreeJS from a reputable third-party website. We also need to change our JavaScript slightly, replacing the canvas and context with a renderer and a scene. Plus, we'll also need a camera. Now that we've upgraded to the 3D realm, let's add something to the scene, position it in front of the camera, and draw it with the renderer. The result looks like this. We can also set up some basic lighting, replace it with a different shape, or simply make it spookier. But really, our next goal should be to apply a texture so that it, looks like something. To do this, we're going to need an image file. Then we simply need to load it and specify it as our material. However, there is an unfortunate complication. If you try to open the HTML file directly, as we've been doing up until now, the image won't load. This is because we are accessing the page via a file URI, which effectively means that this kind of external resource is not allowed due to CORS restrictions. CORS, or Cross-Origin Resource Sharing, is a mechanism that allows restricted resources on a web page to be requested from another domain outside the domain from which the first resource was sought. What the fuck? We will therefore need to set up a basic HTTP file server. If you have Python installed, you can do that like this, though there are other solutions as well. But anyway, once you have it up and running, simply direct your browser to the relevant localhost port, and everything should be working. Now that we can load things, we can finally replace our simple 3D primitive with an actual model. Various file formats are supported, though you'll need to manually add the relevant plugins like so. now we just need to adjust the JavaScript, and there we have it. Putting everything together, we're able to load models, place them in a world of textured cubes, and control them via joypad or keyboard. Throw in some basic collision detection, and we've got ourselves the beginnings of a game engine. That's getting outside the scope of this video though, so let's close out by answering some questions not already covered. Does it support VR? Yes. Can it be combined with a physics engine? Yes. Can I add network multiplayer? Yes, but it's complicated. What about audio? There are a couple of ways to do this. Triggering HTML audio elements from the JavaScript code, or more properly using the Web Audio API, which ThreeJS even integrates with directly. However, you're going to have to figure the rest out on your own because it's time for this video to end. Thanks for watching, and remember, post this cat when they least expect it.